kind of a late start today. Again, I think it's just like I'm hitting snooze one time, and I think that's what's doing it. It's awful tight. But yeah, so I don't know. It's off to a crazy start already. It's Friday though, so that's good. Like every day I'm scared to get up because I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, I don't know. It's just this weird state of being in a state of panic, and it's like passive. It's weird. I don't know. I'm just going to go to work and not worry about it because that's all you can do. Of course, every time you use toilet paper, you're like, is this enough? Is this enough? We got plenty, but, well, plenty for what they're calling for. I mean, if it happens till like September, then no, we don't, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go drive now because, I don't know, everybody's just like everything else. They're in a hurry and pissed off, so I need to pay attention 100%. Well, since I didn't mention it before, it is the Chronicles. It is day 80. And I had no idea when I started this whole thing that all this crazy stuff was going to happen. But I think the most disappointing thing about this little pandemic thing for me is, you know, you see places like Italy or wherever, it's like, you know, they're in the midst of this trauma, and then they'll get on their balconies and they're just singing songs, and because they're in quarantine and this, that, and the other. But here it feels like, you know, most people are jerks, and I think these things like this, we're not coming together as a community and, like, you know, being nice to our fellow man. We're just, it's very self-absorbed. I think we're probably, I don't know, it feels, at least in my area, like a lot of people are self-absorbed, and just all they care about is, you know, what they're doing. And we made comments before about it, how it feels at Disney World. Sometimes, like, people are like, you know, I'm on vacation. We're going to get in here. We're going to, like, dude, everybody's on vacation. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like everybody there is working and you're on vacation and we should just cater to your needs. But I kind of feel like this is really bringing this out. And, you know, I think the people that are good will kind of emerge. But as a whole, I don't feel like, you know, we're at this, it doesn't feel like a community. It feels like we're just all kind of out for each other. So, I don't know. I was kind of hoping, because it's a disaster or a trauma, problem, whatever, is when you really see someone's mettle. You see, like, you know, how they handle pressure and how they handle negativity and make the best of the worst situation. I mean, anybody can be happy when everything's great. So, I don't know, it's kind of disappointing. I'm not really surprised, though, but I don't know. That's just my 2 thoughts on it. And as I said before, I did get a pretty late start today. I think this is the latest I've ever left. So, I don't know. It's very, I think the drive is probably the part that I wasn't really sure about and underestimated a little bit as far as this job goes. And it's not the distance, because I traveled almost the same distance to the other place, and I think, you know, Corinne goes about the same distance every morning too, but I'm around a lot more people on this drive, and I think that's where you see you just see how people don't really care, and they just, you know, they could be over here and in the far right lane, and then the last minute decide that, well, they need to be like on the far left lane, and they're just pull in front of everybody without any regard to anything. So, I don't know. But I've seen a lot of motorcycles out, and convertibles, and some classic cars, and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I kind of want to drive the Hellcat to work, but traffic's got to lighten up just a little bit before I do that, because I don't know. I don't think I want to do that just yet, because like so many people have messed up cars, like their bumpers are hit and scrapes on the side. So, you know, it looks like clearly their vehicles are just a vehicle to get somewhere. They don't really care about it. And it makes me a little nervous driving around people that their cars look like absolute homemade sin. So, because they're not being careful, and everybody's being weavy today. Like, everybody's in their lane, they're weaving all over the place, and I don't know. I don't know if they're tired, or they're just not paying attention, or they're texting. Hell, I'm videotaping and talking right now, but I'm staying in between like my lines. So, also a lot of people running and walking. So, I just wonder how much the landscape is going to change. So I guess I'm glad I'm doing this for that reason. Sorry it's not cool adventures, but if it gets way, way worse, you'll be able to see the progression of it. So, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be a good day. Maybe I'll try to videotape my office. I tried yesterday, but I didn't hit the button again. So I don't know why I can't hit the button, but I'll try to do that this morning. So we'll see how it looks so far. Just as a for instance, you know, you see pictures of New York and it's like just nothing. And you'll see pictures of Louisiana or New Orleans or something, and it's like there's nobody. And this is the better part of the Charlotte Drive as far as traffic goes. So it's just going to get worse than this. And you can see there's plenty of people on the road like it's just a Tuesday. So I don't know what's going to happen. If they're going to like make everybody not do this or what. But just tons of people. Alright, so now we're at the W.T. Harris and Albemarle Road. It's just kind of like when it really starts getting busy is I'll get out. And you can see, I mean, it's just like you wouldn't know there's anything going on. No lack of toilet paper, no closing of anything, nobody working from home. It's just this non-stop barrage of cars. So it's strange, and of course the city buses are still running. You're not supposed to have gatherings of more than 10 people, but yet the city buses are running. As you can see right there, it's across the street, turning as we speak. I mean, you think that thing holds more than 10 people? I think it does, but it's weird that, you know, you hear the radio and everybody's working from home, and they see Facebook, everybody's working from home, or they're not working at all, but yet you go to Charlotte, which is where most of my friends on Facebook is from, and it's like this. I'm like, why are you not working? I don't get it. It's just weird. It's just so many people. And I don't know. I mean, maybe they're all nurses and doctors, but given the type of vehicles, I don't think this is what nurses and doctors drive. So it's just like, you know, we're going to build us a deck, and we're going to go fill up our diesel truck thing, and I don't know, it's nuts. Okay, so now we're on Independence, and this is the craziness that is Charlotte. You got to really, it's 45 miles an hour. I'm doing 56, and as you can see, still kind of getting past. So you have to drive like speed, or if you drive 45 on this road, you are in trouble. Actually, it might be 50. I'm not really sure, but it's definitely not what we're going. So here's my exit. Let's see if we can get onto it pretty good. Yeah, we can. Good. But yeah, this is it's kind of what it's like. Just, I mean, does it look like there's a huge problem and everybody's working from home? Because it doesn't to me. I think it's a little lighter traffic than it usually is at this time of day, because it's usually way worse than this, but it's still like pretty steady. And it's not like, and nobody's really being nice driving either. It's like they try to box you out, of a lane or something, and just ride on your bumper till you get over. And it doesn't matter if you're in the right hand lane or left hand lane, it doesn't matter. They want to be in front of you. But yeah, it's just normal. And I think that's what makes it difficult to kind of take everything serious, with the whole social distancing and this is a thing, and then you get out and like this, and it's hard for your brain to even comprehend that this is a problem. And what's going to have to happen is the government's going to have to step in, and they're going to have to shut everything down, and then they're going to have to I don't know, enforce martial law or something, because people aren't just going to do it. And here's the landscape people. They're landscape people. They're working, but nobody's just going to do it. So somebody's going to have to enforce it. And the only way they can probably legally enforce it is to infringe on rights of people, and this is how you lose all your rights, because you won't just do what's smart. So I don't know. I guess landscaping is an essential, because people are at home and they can't have their yards grown up. I guess that makes sense, right? Anyway, I'm at work. Okay, so I made it at 7:38. So I made it about the same amount of time. It's really not, I don't know, I guess if it were not something going on, then it would have taken even longer. I'm not really sure. I know that this morning I've got to go do a fire ant treatment. It's the one I was going to try to do yesterday, but of course the guy didn't call us back. So I got to do that. Then I've got a webinar at 11 from our past people, like the Management Association, about the coronavirus touching my face. So may or may not make it to that. Depends on how long this job takes. And then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's crazy. Over 2 lanes. Don't know if I can do that. Just gotta wait. I can punch now. And one more. Ooh, boy, sketchy. Okay, so I just wanted to, I left a little early, left at 3:10, just because I've got some contracts I got to work on, and it's on a computer, phone's ringing like crazy, and it's just, easier to do it at the house. I don't really need to be sitting in the office to do that, because if I'm in the office to answer phones, then I can't get the contract done. So sometimes you got to prioritize, and that's what I did. Anyway, this is the traffic on a Friday at 3 o'clock during the pandemic in Charlotte. So as you can see, it's still pretty busy. And we got crazy people like this guy, who's just like going from the far right lane to the left lane because he's in a hurry, and I don't know where he's going to go because there's people up there. But I don't know. It really doesn't feel any different to me. Like, keep in mind, we're not at 5 o'clock on a Friday. This is 3 o'clock on a Friday. So it, in theory, should be better now than it will be at 5 o'clock. And it's still pretty congested. So I don't know what it's like to be in New York with nobody on the roads or whatever. Also, another thing that's kind of odd is people stop, like at stoplights, like 3 cars back from the car in front of them. It's like I've seen multiple people do it. I'm not sure why they're doing it exactly, but I don't know. That's a thing. So I don't know why it's a thing. But yeah, so that's what that is. Got some streakers. Wanted to show them to you. I always like to show the streakers because they're weird. Streakers in progress, right there. What's he doing? Why is he doing that? Can you see it? It's just weird, I think. They're all over the place. Maybe it's a cure. One can hope. Alright, well, I made it home a little after, well, right before 4 o'clock. And there is Santa Claus packages. So even though the Amazon thing said it wasn't shipped, it showed up. So I don't know. It's weird. And then of course, like, burps because I'm on video. It said it was arriving Saturday, but then it showed it wasn't shipped yet. So I didn't think nothing about it, but it arrived today. So crazy. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, go and walk the dog and let him do his business. He's rolling, because that's what he does. I'm on video. He's like, oh, well, Dave's on video, I can roll. Then I'm gonna get my packages and I'll feed him in a little bit because it's a little early for that. So anyway, it's a beautiful day. It's warm. It's like 80, well, almost 80, maybe 70 something. And stop scratching. Stop. Every day. It's like, I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, it's not a bad day. Like I said, there's a lot of streakers though. It's kind of strange. So I don't know. Anyway. Okay, unboxing video number 1. Let's see what we got. We got a bunch of poppy paper. We got our flashlight. Okay, that's pretty cool. Cats are going to go crazy with this stuff. Got my matte detailer car wash stuff. What is this? This is my battery terminals for the duster. Those baby steps. What? Is it because baby steps? Well, yeah, I need them, so I figured, why not? This is probably the diffuser. Oh, it is, I think. Yep. It's a diffuser. We'll get that out and look at it. And then a box. Probably got 3 frames. And there's the diffuser. That looks pretty neat. It's got deer and birds on it and trees. Lights up. Neat. So, Tab Johnson decided he wanted to come inside. And he told me that by clawing at the damn screen. And then he just runs back outside so he can come play in the garage. Because cats are jerks. Come on. Let's go outside. Oh, nope. Nope. Come here, come here, come here. Okay. You're on film because you're a jerk. Cute though. Guess it's windy. And dark. How do I open the door with a cat in my hand? Like this? Hey people. Okay. I figured I'd see if the dog wants to use the bathroom before we go to bed. And Blackie wants to come in. Blackie. Gosh, nose. Alright, so I'm going to let Snow use the bathroom so he won't be awake early. Yeah, hopefully, of course, cats will be, so it really won't matter. But I think I'm going to put like a little clip of the webinar that I got, 'cause it's like they're talking about what they know about the virus. And if you don't want to see that, you can just stop it. But, you know, it's always good to see what other people are saying about things, because you keep getting misinformation. Like, all right, here's a good example. Korean went and got tested yesterday. Yesterday. And they said they'll have her results in 24 hours. So the test came back, it was negative. Well, about the same time that she got her results back negative, it got released that there is a case in Stanley County of the coronavirus. It's confirmed. So, you know, it's like, of course, everybody's calling me like, oh God, is it Korean? I'm like, no, it's not her. It's fine. But then I watched this other video about it, like one of the commissioners or whatever, and basically he said that it's a presumed case, that it takes 3 to 5 days for the test results to come back, but they've got all the symptoms, so they're just on house quarantine at the moment till the test comes back. So do we or do we not have a case? And like, why was hers 24 hours? But yet this person and another one of our friends is like still waiting on their results. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of like on-site testing thing, I don't know. But you would think if somebody's presumed to have it, that you would send them to the place that has the on-site testing, like Concord, which is not that far from here, and it's a drive-through thing, so it ain't like she can infect anybody. I don't know, just strange, just the inconsistencies, unusual. Anyway, it's super windy, feels like it's fixing a storm, hurricane, something. Snow scratching, because that's what he does. Quit scratching! Stop! For the love of God, man, stop! Jeez, that dog. And the cats are, you can't see them, but they're just hanging out. So we're going to go outside. I'm going to put that on there. Day 80 Chronicles out.
We are now. And I want you to think back to New Year's and what you were doing New Year's Eve, because it was December 31st that China, for the first time, announced that there was a cluster of 41 cases of pneumonia that were odd, and they weren't sure what was going on or what was causing that pneumonia. January 7th, they announced that it was caused by a novel coronavirus, and by the 13th, the first case of this coronavirus pneumonia was diagnosed outside of China. We in America received our first patient on the 20th of January, who was a returning traveler from China. By the 23rd of January, China had locked down Wuhan city and the province around it due to this major outbreak going on in that part of China. By the 30th of January, the WHO, or World Health Organization, declared this novel coronavirus, now going by the name of COVID-19, a public health emergency. That's in one short month. On the 31st, President Trump banned all foreigners from returning to China from entering the United States. On the 29th of February, we had our first unfortunate death in the United States secondary to coronavirus. And then by the 3rd of March, we see in another country, Italy, an entire countrywide lockdown being put in place. On the 11th of March, the WHO, again the World Health Organization, declares COVID-19 a pandemic, and President Trump expands the travel ban to 26 European countries. On the 13th of March, it was declared a U.S. national emergency. Think about how far things have come since the beginning of the year. Currently, internationally, there are more than 240 cases of coronavirus and over 10,000 deaths from coronavirus. 240,000 cases. I don't know if I misspoke. In the U.S., we've registered more than 14,000 cases and more than 200 deaths. Looking at this map, you can see that it is scattered all over the country, with certain areas with greater concentration. Certainly the greater New York area, with New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, having many, many cases, Washington, D.C., Boston, Providence, another concentration. The southeast of the United States is coming up quickly. The West Coast has a number of clusters. And where I am in Chicago, we also have a lot of cases. This will change rapidly as we scale up our ability to test for it. And it's sort of like the old saying, if you build it, they will come. If we look for it, we will find it. There's far more coronavirus than what's present on this map. And this is the reality that we now deal with, and we're going to have to play the cards that we're dealt. So what are the symptoms of coronavirus? And, here we see fever, cough, and shortness of breath. In truth, coronavirus has many symptoms that some of these other winter respiratory viruses may have. With the hallmark being that the respiratory symptoms tend to be what we call lower respiratory symptoms. Upper respiratory symptoms are more a stuffy nose, a runny nose, a sore throat, and things that are more closely associated with, say, rhinovirus or echovirus, the causes of the common cold. You may also have a cough, but they have a lot of upper respiratory symptoms. That can be present in coronavirus, but is not the hallmark of coronavirus. The hallmark of coronavirus is if it goes lower in the respiratory system, gets down into the lungs, where you have a cough, shortness of breath. The cough does not need to be productive, meaning you will not necessarily have sputum. About a third of cases have a productive cough, which means 2/3 don't. Fever is probably the most common symptom of all, and by fever we mean a temperature greater than 100.4 Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. So let's go over a little bit of what happens if you catch coronavirus. I think one of the key take-home messages is that 80% of the cases are mild to moderate. You may have a little bit of a cough, you may have a little bit of a fever, you think that you may have a mild flu, you're not desperately ill, you don't need to go to the hospital, you don't need to be hospitalized. The good news about that is that means most people who get coronavirus are going to be fine. The bad news is many people might not know they have coronavirus because they're not very ill, and you'll run into them and they say, oh, I got a little bit of a cold or a mild flu, and they might have coronavirus. And until we can test more readily, we will not be able to know. 20% of cases, so look at your hands, that means 1 in 5, right, may require medical attention and hospitalization. They end up in the ED, they may or may not be hospitalized because they're having more severe symptoms. But of that 20% that may even qualify for hospitalization, only 5% are the ones that get very severe coronavirus infection and end up critically ill and in the ICU. So odds are, if you catch this infection, you will be okay, you will get over it, and only a small fraction of patients end up in the ICU and quite ill. So what's the odds you're going to die? Well, the numbers vary, and we now typically say anywhere between 1 and 3.4%. And part of the variability is because in certain countries they don't have a good ICU care, and so the mortality may be higher. In the United States, it's currently running at 1.4%. And that's my quick overview for you about the COVID-19 situation